Welcome to our lovely future humans and those who are of the 5D collective. If you don't maximize your human elements, all of this, you will not be maximizing any of the spiritual ones, let alone will you be fascinating to someone like myself or anyone who is an intelligent mind. So, mindfulness, mindsight, mindset, it all works out. The human makeup of Maria is why I didn't get lost. By the way, as a mystic, the ones who call themselves divinity and then they continue to use words, let me tell you, we're going to make fun of 3D, 4D. They're not our weak brothers and sisters, but they are adaptive child part people who continue to live pseudo-aliveness and attachment trauma educators. They smarted me up. So thanks to them, I can tell you all not to waste your time because I've been ascending since, 2005, 2007, and my timeline continues to expand because I have what is called grounded in reality. It's called common sense. FYI, please, I don't want to pat you on the back, and I don't pat anyone on the back. I actually do not think of mediocre people as dangerous. I find them boring. Mentally boring, emotionally boring, entertaining, yes, here. So I make fun of those who do not know why the future humans are already here. And I'm not kidding with you, they irritate me. Why? Because God gave them a gift. It's called life, and then they want to pretend to be angels. And we're all angels. God chimes in every now and then to remind me of my place. It's okay. Humility, it comes with confidence. As a teenager, it was very straightforward. You're bad, you're good. Oh, I'm so sorry, God. I didn't mean to cast a stone. They're just doing bullshit scenarios. Pinocchio, how's your island? Are you doing great? I'm growing older. You are too. The difference is I love myself more. What about you? Oh, did you lose another part of yourself because you actually didn't notice that you have a bad radar, you have a bad gut, and oh, by the way, you live unhealthily. So sorry, Jesus told me to forgive, and I must actually laugh because Buddha, you sat under a tree, man, but I love laughing because, like the Dalai Lama told some dude who went to him and said, how dare you smile in the face of all this suffering? He's like, ha ha ha, no, he didn't do that. I thought business culture. Did he not go to school? Probably not, because people don't value master's degrees or bachelor's or PhDs even when they're getting them, which is why psychologists will go on screen and I'm like, this is a hoax. This man must be a hoax. It must be a joke. He can't actively tell me that if he has a woman who has a better sex life with another man prior to being in his relationship, this is Maria when she decides to get serious and not to fuck around, because seriously, I'm watching him as he's comparing basically his insecurities on screen, and oh, so if I have better sex with someone else, you're so insecure that you're gonna dump me because you wasted all your time meeting my family? Well, I really don't think I lost out. No, because you're actually not even a man yet. You're still an insecure teenager version of yourself who just spoke on screen words that I'm like, wow. I know I divulge Maria's secrets, but seriously, they're all pretty much what you hear all the time. I'm irritated by ignorance. Resh, I have mastery of my brain. Mind, it's amazing when you can own it. When you don't, it becomes very buffoonery. So here's what light and darkness, they complement. There's no good and bad. Please stop. Stop with the charges, people. Go somewhere else if you need a good and bad person. There's Gargamel in a corner. That's how it works when you're grounded in reality and a mystic and a spiritual one and enlightened and not entertained by people who, as you get older, want to do the same shit over and over and over again versus learn things. That is why we are our own tree of life. Yes, the enlightened ones. Please join us here at IHP. But if you're not enlightened, please go somewhere else. You're going to have fun with the people who like to make up stories. As our Earth has tectonic plates and space weather, and they like to make it all, oh, I'm going to have so much fun with everyone. So, mysticism, thank you for the translation. The direct experience of the ultimate reality. Don't you love philosophy? I love philosophy. If you don't own your two sides of the brain, you won't understand this. If you do own two sides of the brain, then you're going to have fun with me making fun of this. Mysticism is not the regurgitation of spiritual knowledge. It is direct experience, yes. And when people continue to use books to tell us how they're perfect little one-size-fits-all with spiritual stuff, it is the way for you to ascend. I put a lot of effort in my stuff. So, without me, you wouldn't be able to access all of this. Is that correct for the collective human beings who think that it's thanks to your vehicle? Is it your special magical? Is that it? Is it the special mantra you gave me that allows me to access my higher potential? Please tell me more. So that's why, let's see, here is Sadhguru for us. He had a good quote today. That will be, do not seek mystical experiences. Some of us, we don't seek them. They're spiritual gifts, but they're spiritual clairs. They're scientists looked into it. It's consciousness. It's everything. But above all, it's an intelligent mind. So while the scientists like to talk about it as virtual reality, I mean, I swear, this is why I will not be in this lifetime no, not in the future either. I'm a pseudoscience woo lady. I come with God, Jesus, Holy Spirit. It's my foundation. Never got cracked. And I'm a 3-year-old who got taught what manipulative grown-ups look like. And I like to learn things, so I say, shh, let's hear the grown-ups. They're explaining stuff. I think they just tainted it with their likes and dislikes. They think devils and demons are in all the stuff that they think is yucky. Yeah, I actually think they're ignorant of what their biases are. Oh, look, there's cognitive dissonance. Hey, the medieval times is on screen. Hey, come watch, come watch. They're dressing up their homes like it. I think we're in the far, far west. They're going to keep it all alive on YouTube. This is so amazing. We can get off of planet Earth and our history is preserved. It's like the caves when they were drawing. Yay. Oh, look, look. This is a future human, by the way. I'm not joking right now. And I don't choke. Unless I'm choking on my own spit. No, I don't choke. But if someone wants to pretend to choke me, I move away. I say, don't do it again. And if they do it again, I say, this is the last warning. I will not be here the next time you do that. And actually, if you even come near me, I will report you immediately, not later. Don't touch me. That's how it works when you're a serious human being, and it don't matter who it is. It's going to be get the fuck away from me with your hands, and don't you dare, because that's not cool. So when you have an empowered human being in front of you, there's a very simple word, respect. Respect with ventral vagal state. I don't need to get charged. It's called ventral energy. It works wonders with immature people because it deserves to be saluted. That's actually an insecure human being who is a stranger who needs Terry Real. In the meantime, there's men who said, did you say it right? I made sure he knew I didn't like him. I was the fucking bitch in the scenario this time because you made it very clear that I can't be affectionate without expecting you to swipe a kiss, to do something that I didn't want, and then I have to get in your face. I'm 4'9". I'm just going to pretend that way I can be left alone eventually. And I'm so sorry, man, with the little... There's this guy with his little Russian roulette. Men don't know how to hit on women anymore. Yeah, do you know? It's called talk. Use your words. Use your mouth versus do the movies that are bullshit that continue to perpetuate gender stereotypes. And all the fancy men and women on screens who also do it. So light workers, yes, they're called also warriors, but we're not warriors of the barbaric shit that happened in ancient times, FYI. Future humans know all too well what smarts means. The ones who are still cringing inside don't understand how it works. I have no, pity party for people who are on Pinocchio's island. They're going to stick around. I found out who they are. They all need therapy. They don't want it. In fact, they come to me and say, hey, I'm smoking, I'm drinking. I'm like, okay, I love you. So I'll watch you wither away because seriously, it's not like you're the first teenager I met. I'm 45. I don't tell them that. I'm telling you that. So 3D, 4D, they actually recently came out with they're trying to cage us up with anxiety and depression. We're not here to be equanimous and love. We're here to be light and lightning. Okay, your body could do way better if it were in restorative embodiment. Hey, stay in your reptilian brain and be the 3-year-old version of yourself. No, unfortunately, a 3-year-old won't see the light of day. Teenagers, a buffoon like Cusco is, and they have no crocodile Dundee because they don't learn with that brain. It's really uninteresting. So they actually grew up to want to do the same things because they don't know what intense life means. Which is also why they go cut themselves up and people get off of panic attacks, which is disgusting. And it's disgusting a lot of other stuff that comes from the visceral. This is a child who's speaking as a grown-up who says, Trump, don't. Stay away from me. Keep your fetishes, whatever it is you want. Have fun with it. In the meantime, those of us who actually have a capacity to know what science says, you're all adaptive child part people. That's it. There's only going to be 2 groups of people. The ones who know how to think, the ones who think they know how to think. And when we spot them, they don't know any better because they're not in a relationship for us. Like my facade friend, he talked over me as I was telling him a very, very, very specific thing. You judge a book by its cover, I told him. You always do this. You're an asshole, my friend. I'm the only one here. Do you know why? You have no friends. How'd you treat all your friends? Self-serving. Yeah. Your only friend left you to vomit at home so that you wouldn't come out and be competition, as I got to see these 2 do the rooster dance with a bunch of other women. This wasn't a club. These were various clubs. I'm not even joking with you all, people. Whenever I saw this, I was like, what? No, this isn't real. So here, sit down, relax. You're going to hear some funny stories. This is what a mystic can tell you about people who are buffoons. It's not monsters. Nope. These are humans. They're in flesh. Ignoring that you have a body means that you're dehumanizing the experience, distancing, which is why distractions serve no purpose except for one, being in a mindset that's destructive and wasting your life away because you can't cry Zen master with your prefrontal or go to therapy so you can learn to cry. Let me think about that one. In college, I met people who fucked and were miserable. I didn't pay too much attention because once you meet one batch of adolescents who are cowards, you then meet the next batch and then the next batch. And I'm going to calm it down. God chimes in to remind me my place. Do not seek mystical experiences, seek transformation. And yes, it's God. For Maria, you can call it Akash, Source, Grace, Anima Mundi, all the words. But at the end of the day, I only have one frequency. And when someone says they're teaching us that if we let everything in, it's bad juju and jojo, you think, haha, so you are a believer of the, which is called cognitive dissonance people who really don't know how it works to be smart. So it's very disappointing. As a child growing up who thought grown-ups did know things, I found out they don't know all things at all. They don't know that love is a consistency. In fact, they continue to want to give 1, 2, 3s, whether they're monoamory or polyamory. That sounds pretty petty to me because you apparently think that God has favorites, which he doesn't. And that's so sad because obviously you didn't get told you're special just the way you are. But even if I tell you that, Cusco, you're going to lie to me until the end because you didn't notice that you didn't take off your mask and go and recuperate your first 3 years of life. So when you meet facades, they continue to be facades. Then their karma plays out on Wheelhouse and nobody's going to be like, oh my God, I'm so happy that suffering is still taking place. Buddha, we need your future Buddha here because seriously, this life, this very existence is suffering. No, it's not. Not when you know how to use 2 sides of the brain or you notice the signs. Here's the 5 hostile doomsdayer doer, what was it? Ghost, are we good? Thank you, Patrick Tian, for helping all the real brave kids come to you. He helps people who know, oh, look, I'm projecting my childhood trauma upon the other world people. Oh, look, I'm still in a body that's survival mode, watching my fucking back and going to listen to an idiot who tells you 10 ways while being interviewing another idiot. When I see grown-ups who are not grown-ups, I'm still a child inside, and I got taught by my teacher, Sue Martin, what's happening to the 3-year-old. How do you suck the life out of a 3-year-old? And as she's doing this, I'm cringing inside, and I'm like, I want all the 3-year-olds to come hug me now, but they don't want to be hugged because they're all 16-year-old assholes who I don't want to be near. And then they ask me, it's not about decency. This is a moron. So we're all motivated differently. And if you don't know yourself and if you don't include yourself, well, guess what? I'm going to know your Achilles heel. Let's get back to my fun story with my facade friend. He's the only one who I yelled in the face. And he's the only one who I expected to be himself. After him, I knew people don't know how to be themselves. And thanks to Basil van der Kolk, I know that until they're insecure, like the man who, if I look away, his confidence will be eroded. You're a little piece of glass. All I need to do is flick you in the right direction. You're going to shatter into a million pieces. That's not nice, is it? No, it's not. Because they started as children, and therefore their homes are why they're scared to be themselves. And then when they throw their life away, they want to point a finger and blame another person. Don't blame the woman who knew what she wanted. You don't need to blame anyone. He made his choice. He threw it all away, and I got to tap into it every time because as a mystic who knows her oversoul, who is tapped into the energy sphere, you get to know every time a soul is giving up that which is their life, which is not funny, by the way. And you don't call them energy vampires or dark auras because that's actually really not nice. You made a good team and a bad team out of energy and out of your brothers and sisters, while understanding that if you're a vehicle and you're tapping into the subconscious sphere, you're getting to tap into that which is happening in every person's heart, which is by far the saddest thing that could ever be. If you're human, of course. If you are divinity, well, I mean, wow, you must know everything. So this is how people don't learn how to be spiritual, human, enlightened ones, but spiritual bypassers who think equanimity actually is spiritual bypassing. No, it's called enlightenment. So when mystics come around and tell you you need them, you don't need them. You need your humanity. Your humanity comes from your child parts. If you own them, great. Ventral vagal state. Now you're beginning to be a light warrior. And a warrior knows there's no fighting because a warrior also doesn't reveal any of that which is anything because we know who we are. The other thing. So when you're seeing all the YouTubers as they just use bigger words, I mean, I am entertained by far. And when I get irritated, I remember because God reminds me, you don't need to worry. I won't flood the earth this time. Thanks God, it won't burn into fire. But remember, many are called, but few are chosen. Thank you, Matthew 22:14. Many are called, but few choose themselves. Well, we don't know. Patrick Tiahan thinks that a good portion of people are cowards because they don't go heal their trauma. It would be cool if they all did, and I can say that, well, he's not wrong. As my friends who are drinking away, hey Maria, we're going to become alcoholics. Hey Maria, we're going to smoke I smoke a little and drink a little, but I mean, I don't go flaunting it like this. Oh my God, I'm so healthy. Okay, I can't tell you what I think because my mother taught me manners, and really it doesn't come out because you're not going to be judging people, because that's what happens when you have humility and not a martyr, superior blamer, or any of those who want pats on the back. I'm authentically aware, as one of my friends who couldn't look at me at the beginning, finally I became friends. So yes, 5D sometimes is invisible to 3D, 4D. That's because they have shame and we don't. So this person, I completely spoke in their face one time. I was like, this is ridiculous. By the third time, I was like, he can't hear me. That's not possible. I'm here. I don't have Harry Potter's invisibility cloak. I know I don't. I can touch my skin. Hello, hello. And he did not. It was like talking to the wind. And so I finally figured out, thanks Bethany Brown and Ruth Lanius, why people who have shame, they can't look you in the eye, and they actually are activated. Every single bit of attachment wounds is coming up. So it's basically unbearable. So I'm pretty sure it's like the body's like, okay, this person doesn't exist. Somehow, I don't know how, my timber and none of it. Finally, the first time he looks at me, he goes like this, don't look at me. I know what they say. I'm not an alcoholic. I said, I didn't say anything, and I actually wasn't looking at you. I was looking over you, but you know, I mean, I didn't say this. Twice. And again, I look at him as he's looking from his little corner of the eye, and I say, look, I didn't talk to you, and I didn't say you're an alcoholic, but you do drink a lot. So, I mean, you know, stop lying, you know, like by the third time we became friends. And in fact, he actually was so sweet when he met my family. I almost cried. This man made me almost cry. Because he actually got better in English, and he got better in life because he has a reason at work that keeps him having to be sober, which is really not funny, by the way. The fact that you have to stay sober and then you basically drink yourself away over the weekend shows that you have an issue with what you're drinking. It's not pleasure. This is like the void here. The Gabor Mate explains, it's not why the addiction, why the pain. Another person explains, you're stronger than your dysfunctional patterns or you're not. What's going to motivate you depends on you. And it's not the substance, it's what the substance serves. So if you can figure out how to, most pain has no gain, yes, because in other words, it wears down the immune system, disrupts the gastrointestinal system, impacts the nervous system, and leads to depression. Rick Hansen. So when people use a destructive mindset because they don't get better, well, we're all motivated differently. Let me go back to the other story that you're probably curious about. So this is Maria, what was I, 27-ish? Something like that, 25-ish, I forget the age exactly, but I am hanging out with friends. I'm going to go back to the beginning. So this is my facade friend. And I didn't have, Claire's were beginning to be active. Nope, not yet. Afterwards, that's right, not yet. So, long story short, my friend gets broken up with after 14 years of this, and he's been my friend since 15. I have all my friends, and then I've added along the way. So you don't lose people as you're an empowered human being who knows we're all flawed, imperfect. Anyone? Does anybody not know how to grow up? So like even with teenage boyfriend, nobody helped me to stay friends. Finally, because I know they're part of my oversoul, we're friends again. And she's the leader of the pack, and he gave up his life because he's happy about it, because he didn't want to become. No, because he didn't have any sense of safety. No, because he was an insecure human being. I spotted that. I said, you can do whatever you want to do. You can be successful. You don't believe in yourself, you're not going to get anywhere. So like Dan Martell points out, every day matters. It's not your future self tomorrow. Now is your future self. What do you eat? What do you consume? And that's reading and entertainment. So when someone wants to wither away and waste their brain in entertainment that is futile, you know that that's a different soul age group than the Enlightenment one. They don't have to move into the Enlightenment soul age group, but it's very boring for those of us who are consistently learning things to watch that, which is, it's very boring. It's not fascinating. And when you hear somebody who's a journalist think that they need to make up some fictitious stories so people can learn, well, really, they're learning your perspective. They're learning your interpretation. They're learning everything that it's not learning. You're entertaining them. If they wanted to learn, then they'd go to school and learn, or they'd watch a serious documentary about it. If they want to make fake their learning, sure, that's why we have people who continue to talk about reptilians and they're not a real species. What we have is a reptilian nervous system, which is a whole different way of talking about this, but not a species in and of itself. So when I meet the pseudo-alive people, 4D, 3Ds, I'm going to call them the adaptive child part. They got a bunch of fantasy. They got a bunch of conspiracy. It's very straightforward because it's also explainable by attachment trauma science. I'm attachment science trauma informed. So I'm the woo pseudoscience lady. I fuck it up. You all know this. And if you didn't, there you go. But when you're self-empowered and therefore as a teenager growing up, moving forward in life between the teenage boyfriend, all that crew, and then with the spiritual stuff, you know when you're experiencing the expansion because you get to close out all that karma, moving into the Dharma. And it's not good or bad. We'll have some episodes on that at some point. But back to transforming yourself by being yourself with this lovely, smart way, stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable. You're authentic, you're whole, you have flaws, you are also in love with life, and that means you're in love with yourself first, and then you're also in love with others. And so that's why we will look all the same, but the difference is when you own the solo self, you own the sense of self, and you own the core narrative relational self. So you own all of you, and then you don't feel changed because that's an integrated brain life for you. Okay, so I'm giving you what an integrated brain life is like when you have the self-awareness because of self-reflection, accountability, and regulation in ventral vagal state. It's not boring to be a securely attached, non-traumatized person. So I'm not insecure. I'm a teenager that is insecure like everybody else, but I'm not a person who's going to distract myself when I get crying or when I get angry or when I get afraid. Okay, so that's having a healthy relationship with emotions. As you're growing up, you stay vulnerable, you stay authentic. It's very straightforward. You don't look for pats on the back, which people who want pats on the back don't like. So my facade friend, you know, we're doing what we're doing, we're going out, and all of a sudden they have this conversation with me, and I say to them, look, you're not ready. You just got a big breakup, like you want to grieve this, and there is an appropriate time for grieving in all ways, shapes, and forms. All the sciences, people explain it. There's no need to embellish it. This is a body and ventral vagal state, and owning the sense of self. Excuse me, I need to make sure you understand this. And then you are therefore not projecting an adaptive child part wound and all that. So when you have Jekyll and Hyde, like my facade friend, I've learned how to not do anything with Jekyll and Hyde people, which is anyone who's insecure. They only want to distract. So that is a waste of my time, distraction. You're not presenting the opportunity you're having to work with an emotion and have a good time. It's not about not going out. Again, I went dancing, continue to love dancing, but it's one thing that I'm going dancing because I enjoy it. It's another if I'm using it as a distraction. That's why the dysfunctional patterns, if you're not stronger than your dysfunctional patterns, addictions are feeling good, but they're bad for you. People who want to look at me and tell me what they're doing with their drinking and smoking habits or not, doesn't matter. I'm going to notice if you're actually enjoying it. Enjoying it means you can do without it. If you're instead needing it when you get stressed, like with my cigarettes, I couldn't get down to number 3 because I use them when I get stressed because of the panic attacks. Okay, so learning how you work with the substance is very important, but also noticing, be objective, be honest, be transparent with yourself. When people are wanting to distract themselves, they think that the ones of us who have the desire to spend quality time are being too serious. That means they don't have the capacity to sit open-ended inquiry and then enjoy a good cry, a good angry talk, a good afraid talk. That's why mindful living is very different than those who pretend to use the word, and equanimity is the result. And if you don't know how to be in it, then you're not mindful yet. And well-being is all about being able to be in use, stress, not distress. So pretenders use the words. Morons scribble on a screen and tell you that we're pretending to be well. Idiots believe them, and then they continue to ignore that they're not going to the therapist to get help on expand your window of tolerance. Apparently you don't know how to handle emotions yet. It's okay. Our ancestors in the fetal position would be eaten by the bear. Shame, it's the posture. Get rid of it because it makes you weak. That's as straightforward as it gets. So emotionally weak people are immature. 3D, 4D. They need stories to feel like they're superheroes. It's very sad. That's a distractive mindset. It is destructive. No, it's a waste of your time. You're living life in a fantasy world. When I see kids that are in their mid-30s, they're using manga and pretending, and they're dressing up like them, and it's Pinocchio's Island. It's just not Pinocchio's Island. I'm in real life. That's it. So it doesn't stop, by the way. Please know if you got an adaptive child part person, they're emotionally mature. They have Jacqueline Hyde, leave it alone. Cusco lies to Pacha at the end. As long as you're denying that you have attachment wounds and insecurities to yourself, not to me, you're not knowing the truth. You're denying the truth. And you're choosing to believe what you like to believe and to refute what you don't like. So my facade friend refuted my advice, which wasn't advice. It was, you're still healing. You just got broken up. Your most first serious relationship, I took some time and I healed and got into then when I was ready another relationship. And then when I was ready for another one, well, that was where it was funny actually. So I've had 3 traditional relationships. Then I became a mystic. So my twin flames, my soulmates, changes things because you have the tapping into of your oversoul, but it doesn't change things to the point of where you don't know what a committed relationship is. We don't waste people's time. Love is not a game. Life is a game because we have play within our own minds and hearts because we are securely attached and non-traumatized people, the 5D collective of those who will come back to HP. This is where I'm a mentor, content creator, podcast host. I storytell and entertain and educate. That's why I call it educational, but it's not educational in the way of 1, 2, 3s, which I make sure to tell you all. And that's where I know stragglers still can be around, but it is what it is. Stragglers are the ones who think they know everything. I don't know everything. I'm talking, I'm sharing. This is the difference. The ones who want to know everything, they're like the people in my classrooms who interrupt teachers who are experts. And I think, go open up your own classroom. I won't be joining you though, because you're a total masculine who doesn't know what you're talking about. You're just using a bunch of words. And I can tell because you're so superficial that you made up the reptilian species instead of notice that's not a species. You're making up stories about good people and bad people because you're dividing it up into group. You're a teenager. That's all you are, trying to dress it up because you saw what is trending. Oh, you're doing it for the algorithm. You're doing it for the money. You're doing it because you think you actually know shit. Oh, wow, sure you do. That's how intelligent minds sift through every single bit of bullshit because it's seriously so clear. We're all mammals, by the way. The one thing, teenagers, I told them, look, you can't lie. The truth always comes forth. My facade friend. Let's get back to him. So I am telling him something for his own good. I love him. I've done this to more than just one friend. And guess what? One of them they bet me I bet you $1, Maria, that you're just a fucking object. Pretty much. I'm just going to keep this one short. And eventually I was saying to myself, well, I really didn't feel physically safe, although luckily I'm far away. But I think that since I owe the person money, I should, have the balls to call him up, let him know that I owe him money. And in that same conversation, let him know I wasn't planning on calling you ever again because, friend that does this kind of conversation, it's really not, I don't think. But since you were upset due to the fact that I know what you're going through, which was being rejected by that which was not a woman, that which was a scam artist, most likely. And I had also told that person that. So when you tell people things that are actually common sense and they come back around without any of this awareness, science replicable to the back of my hand and forward, neuroscience. So again, you meet a 4D, 3D, don't think they're going to change. Because believe me, again, it's not because you try to change anyone. You try to talk sense to someone who has an adaptive child part. This is why I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense when I found out about the dark sides of neuroplasticity. They're shame-bound. Shame, blame, fault, revenge. There's only so many times before you're just going to lock yourself in. And when I see Pinocchio's Island, you know what it looks like? Oh my God, this is disgusting. So I'm out. This is now. Wait for it. Because remember, so in the club, they got all these people fucking each other. There's 2 guys that have girlfriends nobody ever meets, but they have a bunch of girls who fight over them. And why do I need to watch a movie? I just go out. And today, as a grown woman, I get to see that my younger friends told me and showed me stuff. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I saw this happen in real life. And my friends videotaping me. I'm like, look, I have a public well, never mind. It's okay, fine, whatever. Wow, you're kidding me, right? This doesn't, no, Maria, we're not. Okay, shit. Oh my God, what is wrong with, no, it's not what's wrong. Patrick Tiahan, I'm trying to send them to you. So whenever you meet immature children who are grown-ups, they continue to act like they're badass the same way those teenagers that I met who I'm like, you're not badass, you're buffoons, God made it simple. Good or not good. No Lucifer. Good or not good. No Lucifer. Good or not good. Maladaptive patterns of behavior. You're not stronger than your dysfunctional patterns. Your mind is full of monsters and you continue to entertain yourself with really crappy shit. You can have fun in the visceral land as you continue to wither away and basically use your modulated embodiment, which is not your highest performance, but you think you know the flow state. In the meantime, you don't know the flow state, because if you knew the flow state, you'd be happy like I am all the time, not just sometimes. So you'd be in the ventral vagal state, FYI. Okay, so my facade friend, I had told him, you are not ready, not because I wanted to control him, because he was grieving. He didn't listen. He hid the relationship. Not only that, he actually in an evening, him and her decided to leave, and he made up some bullshit excuse, and everybody else knew. So I found myself in a second situation. This is how, remember how we unwind our karma, if you will, and we move into dharma? So it's always how you're going to handle those choice points. And so what are you going to learn from it? And it's not right or wrong, but if you're expanding consciousness, you're going to be moving into dharma. So in this case, I find out 7 days after that they're an item, and I think about it, and then I find out also that everybody else noticed, and I was like, okay, that part I don't care, because I chose consciously that I'm not going to be looking around and watching my fucking back, because usually lies mean nothing except for I got cowards in front of me. That's it. It's not a backstabber. I ain't in a fucking war, so it's okay if you backstab me. If I was physically in war, I wouldn't probably be a soldier. I would have gotten way somewhere else. I have a master's degree. I knew how it worked, because that was one of those options since I had to pay for college. I'm a military brat. Did I forget to mention that? Yeah, so I remember when I was evaluating, and then they said, they yell at you. I said, what? Boot camp. They treat you like shit. Excuse me, come again? Yeah, no, I saw that. I'm like, yeah, I ain't going to do that. That's no way in hell that I'm going to have someone yell at me like that. No, but it's really good, because then they pick, yeah, no, I'm okay with that. They have to break you down. Yes, again, I like to own my respect. It doesn't make you into man or woman. It just makes you into whatever. Sure. Anyone watch Men in Black? Man in Black, the first one. Do you remember? Yes, the policeman, and then all the other ones. Yeah, so please leave it alone. Like, seriously, I would not have been in any of those, and I actually feel quite sad when I do see some things happen, because I'm like, okay, come on, have self-respect. Like, don't. So when you meet those who think fraternities, sororities, and all that, great. No, it's not great. What year do you live in? You really don't understand how the brain works. Okay, I'm going to leave it alone right now, because I think that you don't care to learn. And luckily, we have smart trauma experts at this point. Okay, so while everyone's motivated differently, again, you want to do what you do for yourself. So like getting out of dysfunctional patterns, getting out of negative thinking, getting out because you do it for someone else, you're not doing it for the right reasons. Okay, so in my case with my friend, I wasn't telling him what to do, because I was just saying, you grieving. He didn't listen, he lied, I then went ahead to have a conversation, and from that he pretended, in my world, he pretended to do what are politically correct formal things. And I'm like, I don't need your pity party, whatever this bullshit is. This is not friendship. You've disrespected our friendship. I'm out. I'm not talking to you ever again. That's it. You're done. We're done. And for 5 years. In fact, I would talk to her whenever I would encounter them, and he was like a ghost. And she did tell me, you're acting childish, when I did not welcome his friend request on Facebook. She also informed me that I had accepted friend requests of people who had talked behind my back, which I was already aware of because of the way they look at you when you go in dressed however you want with your nice little backpack. It's a purse. And I have scoliosis, so I have to wear the purse effectively. So I'm not going to hurt my back to look pretty, you know what I mean? And actually, I like my backpack. I can fit all my stuff in it. So when people make a big deal out of my wardrobe, I just think nothing of shallow human beings. You see what I'm saying? Because I am going to be entering a club if I want to. And if they don't let me in, it's okay. I'll go home. I won't want to go into that club. I'm okay with that. If they have a dress style, dress code, whatever, that's how it works. So you don't have these moments of, oh my God, they're going to judge me. Judge what? So I already knew that I was being talked about, because I don't have the fashion of these people who are apparently fashionable. I honestly don't like all the fashion. It's why I let other people dress me up, because I'm like, okay, hey, to my hairdresser, please do me a good hairdo. I have no idea of whatever the aesthetically geometric people want. I'm really not going to focus on that. So long story short, though, as I continued this choice, I told God, I said, I have a hate box. It's not a real one, because I know hate is a really bad word, and I have 2 people in it. He's part of it, but it's a box. And so when people like to remind you, you hated people, no, I had them in a box. I said, I'm gonna look at the box when I'm done with when I want to. So I'm not ready yet. I'll carry it into my next lifetime. I'll decide. So he was in that box with another person who had nothing to do with me. That other person pissed me off for other reasons, which I won't divulge. So in the meantime, 5 years go by. In these 5 years, I'm at my grandmother's funeral. I get a message. Are you happy now? And because I didn't block him. You don't need to block people if you're actively empowered. You just allow yourself to know that they might bother you every now and then. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. We're not friends. I'm still friends with her, but not him. And he's like, she cheated on me. I was like, well, what do you want me to do? I'm not happy for you about that. You should know me better than that. I don't have happiness over people's misery. So I'm at a funeral. Would you mind? I have things to do, basically, is what I'm saying. And then it wasn't. I'm so sorry, Maria. Or something like that. This is a passive aggressive person in this moment. Is I didn't say she's going to cheat on you. I said you're not ready to be in a relationship. I'm pretty sure you saw wrong because we're all having a good time. I didn't do anything that was needing to be addressed. But emotionally immature people don't take accountability, see? So as teenagers do, but it's not a teenager, it's an actual grown human being who's not using their brain. Non-bilaterally integrated brain people come in with Jekyll and Hyde. It's boring. It's not interesting. It's not offensive. It's not personal. So 0-8-year-olds is what you get. Now, my friend, we continue, and I'm not friends. I don't accept this friend request, but I'm having clairs. This is where I have Twin Flame 1. Twin Flame 2 is about to enter the mix, and then I think Twin Flame 3. I don't remember the whole timeline, but long story short, I had an intuitive hit because when things happen to our oversoul members, we will know. And so I knew because their download is immediate, and I went and I checked, and then I said, I said to myself, okay, let me just leave it, but something's going on. And like a week after, I get a message, and that message is, can we meet up? And because I was aware, again, God doesn't ask you to be an asshole. God teaches you to forgive and to be there for people. Doesn't test you. You're not being tested by canceling human beings. You're being not tested. You're being asked, are you going to be a person of Holy Spirit, Jesus, God, and therefore turn the other cheek? Or are you going to be someone who wants to hold a vendetta, which isn't something that is going to be actually, because that's now the self-righteous baton with the trauma charges, by the way, which also makes you blind. So you think you're right and wrong, which makes you divisive, which also tells me you have no compassion, which means your heart isn't open, it's closed. It's hard, like that Egyptian king. So when you got someone who's walled off, that ain't God's path. No, that's called your brokenheartedness just took over your ego and your 2-year-old. And you got a 16-year-old who thinks they know what the fuck they're doing, and they don't. So when someone wants to say they can own the words and the ways, the heart is pure because you maintain an open-heartedness with your mammalian heritage. Without the human element, you do not use the spiritual element because you have no access to it. Your body is the first place, and it's in a prefrontal cortex, not in an amygdala, and not in a self-righteous, contemptuous, asshole-ish butt. So when people are upset, their brokenness comes from something called a broken heart that can be angry and upset, like I was with my friend. And I knew already, because I have good Christian Catholic catechists, and I have Maria, and I have consciousness, and I know what it means to be a person who I have thoughts, I have feelings. My feeling is you're a bullshit asshole who lied to me, treated this entire friendship like a piece of shit, but now you're in the shithole. And what I know about my facade friend, you have no friends. Your only friend left you to vomit while you were depressed at home because he didn't want the competition. So what am I going to do? I'm not going to leave you out to dry because that's not nice. It is not of integrity or morality or the brave thing to do or what God would want or any of those who are wise. Because really, again, luminous warriors. That's the only way you're going to be warrior. No person gets left behind. So when someone is out in the desert, and in this case with the human element, you know the spiritual element, which is why you know to live a life of true spirituality, meaning and connection beyond the solo self. I'm a bridge. I am not in command, and I don't serve a master, and I don't pray to fake idols, although those who want to just use one word think that those of us who use many are, oh no. So you know what it is to do the right thing, because that's the clear conscious of a child who remembers all of our hearts can be broken because we're all humans, and who is not defensive about it. Because there's no envy, jealousy, spite, comparison, competition, none of that, unless you're a insecure facade like my facade friend. So my facade friend has no other friends because he's an asshole. He knows it. And his attachment wounds were never healed. So shadow up and down a merry-go-round, which is why I don't tell any of those who are Cuscos, wait for it, what I told my friend. So I know he's in the shithole. I know God would not want me to leave him there. And I say, I know what the right thing to do is. And that's not the first time around. And again, it's not a test. It's a choice. That's called a choice point. Maria made a conscious choice. That's why we do dharma, not karma. Because just because I'm irritated and I have him in a little hate box doesn't mean I'm going to leave him out to dry in a desert. It's not nice. And it's not of a warrior, of a person decent, of integrity. It's a coward. That's a coward. So unless you're physically a threat to me, I won't be a coward, as I can be a coward if you have a knife in your hand. I'm going to run away. I'm okay with that coward. That's healthy fear. And when you have people who dress it up, they don't have healthy fear. My friend didn't do anything wrong. He just be himself. I be myself. That's it. That's called splinters, ruptures, and really it's bullshit. So we can make up. We can work it out always. People can always work it out unless they're harsh, unforgiving, and rigid teenage versions of themselves, which is why the buffoons that tell me, hey, we're on Pinocchio's Island. Hey, have a good time. We're having fun together. I get to be myself. You get to be yourself. And in the meantime, I know that I'm the one for me because I'm committed to love. Like I'm committed to my life. It means I'm going to be a healthy person who loves unconditionally, and I don't give you conditions. I don't need them. If you want to live in a cave and be blind, live in a cave and be blind. I won't be blind. So this is the part. My facade friend, I don't make decisions based on my likes and dislikes. Thank you, Sadhguru. I make decisions based on what truly matters and what works. So people who are grown-ups, they know how to do this without all of the other stuff. They might not even use the words. That's integrity. It's not what other people say about me matters. No, I know what matters. And when you're in communion with God, you know God doesn't ever give you something that's going to test you in a way of it bringing any evil, because you don't have monsters in your head. Those who have nasty thoughts, their 2-year-old came online, they were already unsafe, or some shit went down at some point. I have no nasty thoughts. When I've been scared of the monster Lucifer, I was scared because I thought he was real. I got to grow up and continue to say, yep, no Lucifer, just cowards. And now I know attachment trauma science. It's explainable. They're all healable. So any person who wants to be a part of the kingdom of God, which is within every one of us, basically enlightenment, they can do it. They get their body, ventral vagal state, they get their prefrontal, get integrated. There you go. It's as easy as can be. Oh, I mean, for me it is. I'm a self-agent. For those who maybe will find some other excuse, I'm so healthy. Yeah, you are. Okay, so facade friend, I answer and say, okay, we'll meet. And when I meet, 2 days, I talked to him for 2 days. And this is the part where I said, I'm telling you this because you judge books by the cover. That's what adaptive child part, who are hypocrites, do. So they tell everybody what the right way is, and then they basically don't notice their hypocrisy, which is what my friend is. And when I'm talking to him, he says to me, I don't know how you do it, eventually at the end. I said, what? Be there for people? You're not people. You're my friend. I told you we were friends. I stopped talking to you because you disrespected our bond, not because I didn't love you anymore. In fact, I'd be infuriated every time they would mention his name. So I learned from my friend in that conversation why he hides himself, and then attachment science explained it. So when you have a person with shame who decides to continue being Cusco, though, that doesn't matter. He's not the only person who stayed in his karma, and it's not good or bad. He stays in a different soul age group. I'm bringing to you the explanations Maria's way as a mystic again, so it's not a science at all. So after this talk, we talk again, and that's what friends are for, in good times and bad times. I can say that I am not ashamed of Maria. Every time that God has sent me someone that I am going to help out. I remember one situation, I was consistently dreaming of this person, and they consistently were calling out to me, and they consistently called out to me from afar, and near me was another person who knows them. Eventually I figured out what the deal was, the person that was keeping me away from them, but I also figured out why. Long story short, though, that person is not a person that is any longer who they used to be. In fact, the last time I got to meet them versus the time prior to that meeting, they had armor on. And that's not a good thing. It's like the medieval armor. And in fact, it was fascinating, to say the least, to perceive this, but it was sad to know you're still the same human being who actually, so I won't share all the details, but I do have to say there are some human beings out there who do the most sweetest of things, and that's where this individual, way back when, one of my most favorite memories. So I don't want to cry because, again, the armor is not positive. It's when you're shame-bound completely to the point of where there is return, but only if you and the entire herd of yours goes to therapy, like for a long, long time. It's not funny. But I remember as they called to me. And then I remember after, because these aren't the dreams, these are us tapping into the sphere. They yeah, don't you think you're going to get away? And I know them. I know exactly, if they put their mind, to this day, if this human being decided that they are going to get what they want, they won't get it with me, but they will go after what they want the way that they will decide. And it's like a bulldozer. And they don't give a shit about who or what they are going to, in fact, this is the point. So it's not dangerous. People that are ignorant of their unhealthy minds can use therapy. And you better bet that the herd tries to keep the person in check. It's hilarious how they do it, because again, when people are not smart, it's not really something that a person who knows what's going on behind the scenes is afraid of. The long story short, though, 3D, 4D are people who are not moving into their true self. Let me just bring it back to you again, okay? So they're not anywhere near something you need to be worried about. But when you are telling those who don't believe, as a mystic, I remember I said, look, to an individual who I'm like, I just have this download, basically. I wasn't using those words. I am pretty certain that this is what it is. And the person's like, no. The day after I got a message, I was like, I told you. And then they continued. And I said, I told you again, this is something that I'm going to deal with. Don't worry. But that the dreams is not just a dream. And then when it's happened, that's why. So we're connected to our oversoul. It's not a bad thing, and it's not scary. It's actually fun, to say the least, once you get familiar with all of it. And people who make fun of it, that's not. So my facade friend, let's go back to him, because that's where I won't share with you my mystic stuff if you don't respect that I am in communion, because it's something very personal, but it's very much not a game. It's also something I can make fun of course, because again, it's not like, oh my God, they call me lucid, I'm so alone, I'm mystic, and nobody believes me. No, it's sure, think I'm crazy, please leave it alone. I mean, for me, it's just like, yeah, okay, that's cool, one side, and then we get 4D, 3D who think that they're special. It's like, no, we're all special, by the way. And I don't think you understand what your goal, no, what your journey is. Your soul's journey is pure love, so all your brothers and sisters, even if they're not yet accessing it, they have it. So the armor doesn't make me afraid of the person. I'm not afraid. I know that if they want, they're gonna try and get what they want. And the way I answered the last time, I said, if you keep doing this, I'm gonna stop answering you. This is the third time. I will not be interacting with any of your communication from this moment forth if you continue with this line of talk. And they knew I was serious, because that's what a child knows. 0-8-year-olds know a ventral vagal tone, because that's what it is when you're a confident person. You don't have to insult anyone. I didn't insult their character. I didn't have to do it. I said, stop. This is not what I'm trying to convey to you. You're misunderstanding me. So please refrain. If not, I will refrain from now forth. And that's why you don't have to ghost people at all. You just tell them how it works. And so people who are empowered, they're not afraid of human beings who are emotionally immature, which is why it's not draining to learn how to handle them. I mean, some people don't know how to handle them because they haven't even learned how to be their self yet, which is why they think there's energy vampires, dark auras, and mean monsters in corners. Their brains are full of yucky shit. They watch yucky shit, and there you go. And with that being said, as we close on out, so my facade friend and I had a good conversation. We stayed friends, and we still are friends. But then 3 years down the line, I find out in a random conversation, as we're talking about God, that they don't believe in God. And I'm in communion with God, and I'm a mystic, and I'm thinking, we've been spending like hours and hours together because they were in the dumps. So this is where to get back on their feet. It took them quite some time. I'm very proud of them. I'm very happy for them. I know they could have become more, but they're happy. They learned what love is. They're with somebody amazing who loves them for sure. So that's the best you can hope for anyone. That's what friends are for, in good times and bad times. He's doing great. He's got a job and he's got health. And so there's that. And that's why it's not like my friends that are on Pinocchio Island are going to be any different. So people continue living like the movies. Difference is I know that they could do more, but they don't want to. You don't make people tap into their true self, and you don't make people become their higher self, which is really fun though when you are. Ventral vagal state and flow state. I mean, I can tell you all, as that which knows wisdom from the empowered feminine, yeah, it's amazing. It ain't wine. Too much wine makes yucky. So empowered feminine, empowered masculine. Any star baby will know that all of our brothers and sisters can be this, but if they choose to not heal this and they stay with orphans, well, then we're going to get to meet what is their mask, because they're afraid to be themselves. And so with their unseen, we meet Jekyll and Hyde, like my friend. So what do I find out with my friend? I find out that he doesn't believe in God as we're having a conversation. And that's the moment where I, since he's like a brother to me, and again, thanks to him though, I don't yell at people in their face. All I asked you was to be yourself. That's what I yell in his face. And he even got us a good episode for the IHP podcast, the audio version. So after that, I completely had plenty of other experiences I could tell you, but I want to try and keep it short so that we can continue on for the day. And I got attachment science and forms, and now I know exactly what I'm dealing with. So thanks to my facade friend, I learned the timbre of insecurity. So teenagers like Cusco, just being spiteful little dickheads. From him, I also learned that they don't learn to get better. He just got stuck with a friend who didn't do drugs, who didn't drink the bejesus of me, and I didn't have money to throw at him to do any of this bullshit stuff, which I wouldn't have in the first place. Even with millions, I'd be like, I ain't giving you shit. Nope. And don't tell me about cocaine, because I'm going to rat you out the minute a cop stops me. Don't. And I'm not judging you. Just don't bring me in. You guys know. This is one of the things I tell people. Don't tell me a secret if you want me to not reveal it in case they interrogate me, because my life matters more than whatever bullshit you're doing. And no, I do know about corruption, but believe me, I have it all figured out. I prefer to be a part of society, because that's how you make a difference for the future generations, especially when you see adolescents continuing with the manga and the entertainment that is yucky and a bunch of more shit, which really, it's not about the sex revolution. It's about get yourself securely attached, become non-traumatized, means you can cry, you can get angry, good, you can be afraid, come on, you can do it, you can do it. I know you can. So I'm trying to let you all in on that. That's how it feels when I meet the ones who don't know how to be themselves. Now, ones who get upset. It's not that easy. Nobody said it was easy, but guess what? There's a person out there, she's healing from her fragmented, oh my God. I was like, oh my God. She's so excited. This is what it means when you know what you're doing with yourself. She's like, so they told me it takes about 10 to 15 years, but I'm at 7. And she's like, I'm almost there. And I was going to cry. I'm almost going to cry now. And then we have Kylie. She's a narcissist who's healing. And then we have an idiot who says lack of imagination for evil. Stop. There's no evil in the way of monsters. Be nice to those who didn't get a good start. But then again, if I look away, your confidence is eroded. And it's thanks to the same human being that I know that a man, once they pull out, will have contempt and disgust towards me. I said loathing in one of the videos. That was wrong. I mixed it up. I fucked it up. Oh, and then they will have shame. But I don't know where the shame goes. In the meantime, a woman thinks we're going to get wed. I'm not. I'm trash now. I can't be married. I'm no more pure. No. Oh, look. I'm not pure anymore. Oh, no. What shall I ever do? Oh, look. I'm even polyamory. I'm a whore. I'm a masochist. Oh, look. I'm a mystic. Oh, my God. I am all the evil things for every one of those ignorant human beings. Wow. I'm so happy. I'm basically yucky to the people that I'm not yucked out by you, but I would love to hug you, but I'm pretty sure you won't want a hug from me because all of the attachment wounds will flare up. And oh, by the way, if I ever have a campfire where we're sitting all together, this is to the committed IHP community, and I will know who you are because you say, okay, I'm committed, Maria. I've been following all your bullshit for the past, however, I've been around since 2010 on blogs and podcasts. So I'm talking to whoever's here at the end of it. If you're committed, not because you're more special, don't do this. We're all special. We're all special. Be nice to your brothers and sisters. I'll tell you the secret stories. At a campfire, though, it won't be digital. That way it can't leave. It can only be hearsay. And then that's how stories are made. Oh. So if I told you guys the entire story of Maria, which someone's like, write a book. No, why would I write a book about my personal life? This is really like, I'll never forget what happened. It's like, this is not possible. It's not virtual reality. I mean, if it were virtual, if it is, hey, I mean, really, it's okay. Transform yourself by being yourself the smart way. Please do that. Stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable. Basically, you're whole, you're authentic, you're flawed, and you're in love. Oh, and it's day 5. No, day 6. Day 6, I'm doing better. I'm still a little full. But anyways, so my attachment facade friend, we're friends still. I love him to death. He's happy. But what I was trying to present to you completely is that he didn't stop lying to me. And that's why authentic people know that you're lying, because we're all nervous system. So you can't lie. And when I meet a teenager, I just know that I love them just the way they are, and I'm not going to make them get better, because I accept, love, and respect you. God tells me that I need to stop judging my brothers and sisters of human suffering, a waste of my fucking time, which I'm going to do right now. And it's because I don't like to waste my time with mediocre things like futile, unnecessary, and uninteresting entertainment to distract oneself while I'm thinking of quality time. People like to continue, I'm 45, to do things that I'm like, I like still dancing, but I have better things to do right now, and it's not dancing. I actually have learning, content, strategy, people that want to spend quality time with me together and actually talk about our deep, deep emotions, like the community here when we get our groups together and we get to work with anger, fear, sadness, joy, disgust, surprise. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. So thanks for stopping by again. Let your 5D mystic, spiritual, mindful, living, loving, functional, inner child, adult people know about our IHP land, because we're going to have fun. And yes, we're going to make fun of, they're not bad people though. They're just poor, unfortunate souls. So sad, but true. That one wanting to, do I help them? No, we don't. Listen. You just explained to me dorsal vagal shutdown. Now, I am a mystic. I am a mindful mentor. Yes, I do Reiki. I'm an Akashic record reader. I can do hypnosis, even though my pending certification is there. But I still can, because I'm a Reiki master and I know meditative state. However, and I have had an LBLT, so I can replicate it like the back of my hand. However, as I am telling you, the nervous system is very important. So before we do any of this spiritual personal growth stuff, you really want to go and get your nervous system checked in. Once you're familiar with your ventral vagal state, that means you're using 2 sides. It's EMDR, child parts work, somatics. Yes, I can support, but still, I'm not the neuroscience expert. While those human beings who are doctors, like actual doctors, and they continue with their doctorates and they get to have to train because they have the licenses, they do have to follow training protocol. Those people are the experts. And even if they're not all perfect, I'm not perfect either. They know how to work with you like Pat Ogden to make sure that you can use now what is your own ventral vagal state. Once you're doing that, you're ready for me and us and all of it, because you're going to do it the right way. No, you don't want it. You're going to become a spiritual bypasser, or one of those people who thinks you know everything, and then we get to watch you play shadow and light, hit rock bottom, back that up, hit rock bottom, oh, pat each other on the back. Flat earthers, are you having a good time? So when we see silverbacks, we think, oh, look, there's a bunch of masculines. It's not men, it's just a bunch of people who use left mode. They talk over you like my facade friend, and then they look at you like you're being too serious, and you think you lied to me again. That's it. I'm done with you. No, I'm not done with you. I'm done trying to talk to those who don't listen. So it is unfortunate. Emotionally immature people, they don't listen. And like Stephen Porges said, they can't. They're selfish. I'm selfish too. Difference is, I'll tell you. I know what I want. I know where I'm going. And that's it. I know how to tell you my feelings. I'm always going to tell you everything, because why wouldn't I? But I don't know if you'll like what I have to say. So make sure you understand this. No, I don't actually do that either. I watch them walk, and then I watch them talk. By the time I see your 5th hand, if you chose Jacqueline Hyde, I'm going to know, you ain't going to know, because that's why lack of self-reflection, awareness, accountability, and above all, learning to use your ventral vagal state is what those people like my facade friend. It's not funny. It's not funny to watch people you love become that which they didn't have to become. So people support each other to become the best version, not by saying family is blood and someone sold their soul to the devil. No, they did not sell anything to the devil, because the devil isn't real except for in stories of books. What is real, though, is when you become a full-blown narcissist who needs help because you don't give a shit about whose feelings you hurt. While at the end of the day, I can be the bitch and the witch and the whore and all of it. I know my integrity, which is I know what I'm talking about. And I'm pretty sure that It's not about the blood. It's about, do you have common sense to hear what the smart scientists are saying? Or are you going to be one of those who say, I found it hard to believe, and felicity is life means shit. Yeah, your maladaptive patterns. They came from a monster. Because, you want to believe that. And the world is full of monsters because so I don't believe in bullshit. I'm grounded in reality. Thanks, Sam Harris. And that's why, one, God is good. He gives his children a place to go and play. If the people don't want to play and they don't want to get access to the seed of enlightenment, thank you, Sadhguru, the kingdom of God, thank you, Jesus, and they don't want to, as Hippocrates points out, heal and be disciplined and know how to be wise, health is everything. They won't master mental, emotional, physical, anything. So they can keep using their mouths, but their minds are not theirs. Their inner master is not where to be found because they don't have a prefrontal cortex in. They got an amygdala. And so they don't have the mastery of that which is, where are you, Resh? Right here. And they won't master the smile of Buddha. Therefore, they won't master the forgiveness of Jesus. They won't master becoming luminous. They won't grow forever. They will not become their tree. And their heart will not be opened, and they will not know I'm present. So it's not a competition to raise your frequency. It's actually something called amazing to give us the gift to get to know you, because your self is the most amazing gift you could ever give. And that, though, as Patrick Chan points out, shame of children who didn't get seen, it's very hard, which is why we respect Cusco. If Cusco presents himself to me, I leave him alone, because it means him, her, or they doesn't want to be seen. And I can't make you see yourself. As Patrick Tiahan, Basil Vanderkolk, and all the smart therapists, Pat Ogden. So when someone's just using the words, but they're being spiteful to their brothers and sisters, and they're picking a team, there's no teams. There's people. Stop dehumanizing human beings who had trauma, and we have more of them now. And we're going to continue to be the ones who, as Sadhguru points out, where are you, Sadhguru? One thing every human being can strive for is to leave this world a little bit better than it was when you entered it. And that's what this episode is for, and many more. But in particular, this one, as we close on out, transform yourself by being you the smart way. Whole, authentic, flawed, in love. And if somebody doesn't know how to do it, you still lift them out of the mud. And when you see people trying to put someone's head in the mud because they're imperfect and flawed, you look at them like I've done, and I say, that's not nice. We love him. That's not nice. And you go and pick him up. And then you say, look, you're beautiful. I can only lift you up so many times before, if you choose to, face in the mud, I did what I could. That's how it works when you see people who don't get helped by people who say they love them. So never think in terms of who is doing better than you are. The only question is whether you are doing your best. Thank you, Sadhguru. And God knows all of his children can rise to not the ashes, to be their best version. The scientists have it all figured out. So even if spirituality were not here, I know all my brothers and sisters are saved, which is what I told God, which is why I was very happy that day. I said, oh, we're not needed. They're all healed. Yay. And then I accepted defeat. Unhealthy fear. It's not about fear. I need fear. Roof, don't follow me. But unhealthy fear is why we still have poor children being... Well, I'm going to leave now. So again, join us and let anybody else who likes to inspire human potential join us too. Have a good day.